let's not go with my story specifically. Sure. Let's go with homelessness. There's like there's no real box you can put homeless people in, all right?
I've seen you on the run. I've seen you on the run. The place they call their home. Come down to me the
People can't afford rent because they don't have jobs.
But what's your personal story?
Mine is the same thing. I'm waiting on Social Security. I'm applying for SSI. There are a lot of people waiting on SSI. You got a lot of people who have schizophrenic, mental problems. They have mental disorder situations where they are waiting for Social Security to help them pay for their rent. So the thing is, until that happens, they'll be outside or they can go in the shelter. A lot of people don't like shelters. Some people are like animals. Birds are finicky. They don't like to be caged up.
My story, well, I was working, you know, and paying my rent and paying my bills, and my job run out on me, and I don't have no money no more, and I became homeless like that, you know, and traveled in the United States. I left from home and traveled. I'm from Tennessee, you know, and I hitchhiked all over America. You know, I went.
Wow, and you ended up here?
Yeah, it's last state.
Oh, I just lost my job, and I wasn't seeing any family. Wasn't planning on living with them.
Well, being honest, drugs. I'm originally from Alabama, and I come out here naive, not making an excuse, but, you know, liking women, and the truth is, she told me, just suck the smoke out the bowl. And once I tried it, and then I was downhill ever since.
I'm a pretty responsible person. I go to school. I go to Cal Poly Pomona, and I go to SMC, and I got myself into a position where my rent was more than, I was living with roommates, and I got left. The roommates moved out. One died with his dog. Dog died first. Okay, and the other one moved out. So I was left with a $1,500 a month apartment that I don't even bring in $1,500 a month. I'm a starving student, okay? I don't even bring in $1,500 a month. So this is how I ended up here.
When we interviewed homeless people on the streets of Santa Monica, we came across a lady who refused to take a hygiene kit we offered her. Instead, we bought her a meal from a local restaurant as a gift. Rashi's commentary on Deuteronomy 15:7-8 discusses the importance of giving to the most needy. Those who are the poorest in the community must be helped prior to the rest. If what is given is not accepted, however, one must give as a gift, lending to our fullest of capabilities, which we did.
Paths, people assisting the homeless. And I think that same fellow who then became the board member came up with the slogan, a hand up, not a hand out. And that's been a really important part of our policy.
Sorry, was that? Sorry. A hand up rather than a hand out.
So that idea that not allowing people to stay on the street, but giving them the hand up, that would motivate them into changing their life. So it started out really small. First place actually was residential in kind of the Beverly Hills area, and she and I went over there, but then that didn't last too long. You can imagine that some neighborhoods wouldn't want a homeless facility. So that's where, you know, the lawyers come in. So then there was a day center over here on Overland. And day center meaning they were just handing out sandwiches and hygiene product.
Just like PATH, Ketuvot 67B, Section B, states the community's responsibility is to provide needs to those who don't have the bare necessities. A marriage without a home leads directly to homelessness. It also makes the community somewhat more reliable. And if the community isn't there for the person in need, they won't have anything.
They do have chores. There's a curfew. They need to be, if they're not working, they need to be in the job center every day looking for work, or submitting that they've applied for a certain amount of jobs. If they are working, they need to have that documented, especially if they're out past curfew. We do give them 3 meals a day. We have a clothing a room where they can get all the clothes, both for job interviews and also just everyday stuff. We also provide like all of their toiletries and everything like that, with the idea being that they should not have to have any expenses when they're here, so that they can save their money. And that's another requirement of the program, that they save a certain percentage of their money. They save up money so that they have that cushion. So when they move out, they can put a deposit on a place, or they, even if they can even have some left over as far as getting stuff for their place and stuff like that. But also to help them in that habit of saving, so that when they will have a cushion in the future as well.
And related to that, some workshops, classes like financial planning or financial literacy, so to help people know how to budget and know how to save money.
Yeah. So we have workshops 3 times a week. Yeah, that are also mandatory for them to attend.
How do you guys choose who gets priority to live here?
So all of our intake, with the exception of some of our veterans, goes through our Access Center, the PATH Access Center over on Madison. And we have case managers there that meet with people, and what they do is every individual that comes in, they do a comprehensive, what's called an ISP, which is an individual service plan, which is that person's path out of homelessness. And so out of doing that ISP, some of the people are selected to come over here because the case manager there feels like they would really benefit from this program.
How do you guys keep PATH going?
So we are funded from a variety of different sources. Our biggest funder is from HUD, who gives a large grant to the city and county of LA, who then distribute it to various organizations like PATH to run shelters. So we have a good contract with them. We also get funds from the Veterans Administration, specifically to house veterans, and then we also get sort of the remaining funds to fund our program here is through just individual donors.
PATH gives you the tools so that you can become an independent human being.
Yeah.
Okay, so that you can, they give you the tools like the computers, they give you good food, they give you beds and everything, so that you can go and find a job, a nice job, and then you can get an apartment, and then you can, be back into the mainstream.
So PATH essentially puts you on the path, rather than giving you a house or giving you...
Right. There's nothing given, well, there is the given, but it's all with the concept of you not one meal. It's the concept of giving you the tools that you need so that
you can be able to afford the meals yourself.
Right. There you go. One of the things of Buddhism is you don't give a fish.
You give the rod.
You give the rod, so that the person can fish for themselves, and they can fish for days for themselves, where one fish is only one meal. Okay?
We learn not to judge a book by its cover. This relates to Ketuvot 67b, section F2, which states that even a poor person will indulge in spending the little extra money for whatever it could be to treat his or herself to something special. In section F2, a man thought that because he was spilling expensive wine, he hadn't needed the charity he was getting. By doing this, he was trying to make himself feel more financially stable. Similar to this scenario, women like Susie use glamorous accessories to cover up any financial issues they may be suffering. We learn not to judge a book by its cover. This relates to Ketu Vote 67B, Section F2, which states that even a poor person will indulge in spending the little extra money for whatever it could be to treat his or herself to something special. In Section F2, a man thought that because he was spilling expensive wine, he hadn't needed the charity he was getting. By doing this, he was trying to make himself feel more financially stable. Similar to this scenario, women like Susie use glamorous accessories to cover up any financial issues they may be suffering.
How do you suggest that they help a homeless person?
By just talking with them and just understanding if they're open and they're willing to talk about their situation, find out if they need a snack pack or a hygiene kit or something of that nature. But a lot of times it's just your personality and your ability to talk and communicate with the person. A lot of times people haven't had anyone to talk with them in a while besides their regular folks and friends. But just being out there, being able to talk. You don't need money. You don't need anything in particular. But certainly if you have a water bottle or something like that, or
the basic necessities,
kits, those types of things, those are always needed, and that's what we carry. But the main thing we carry that's the most important thing is the personality and the willingness to help.
Yeah.
That's what the people really want to hear. That's what they want to see. They want to know, how can you help them to get housing, or to help them get off the street, or help them. It's not always housing, but sometimes it can be just a ride to DMV, a ride to another city. It's not always housing.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are working outside, but they don't make enough money to rent an apartment. Sometimes it's just helping them fill out an application,
or taking them somewhere,
and getting a referral from a landlord that's willing to accept them in an apartment. It's not always, I want to stay in house, I want to be in a shelter or live in a It just depends. Different situations, different people. A lot of people out there on SSI, they get about $800-900 a month, but it's not enough to get an apartment.
After learning the proper ways of assisting the homeless, we relate back to our Jewish text, Ketuvot 67b, section F1. It states that giving money isn't of much significance. Rather, one must donate food for an immediate impact.
Whether the person in need is a stranger or not, we are told to support them. Leviticus 25:35 states that we must let him live under our wing. Just because they may be below us doesn't mean that they shouldn't be anything less than us. When one comes across a homeless who is in need, he must pay him with respect by lending a hand and offering all that we can to help.
In the relation to giving to charity, F3 focuses on how much one should give. Because one does not want to leave him or herself in hazardous financial circumstances, one must only give 1/5 of their share. For those who are incapable of giving, volunteering is their way of giving back.
I don't donate, or they're not going to wear anything that you can't wear. All right. Or there are some people who will donate a quarter of a bottle of shampoo. All right. A quarter of a bottle of shampoo, throw it out. Okay? If you got a bottle of shampoo, you don't like the fragrance, okay, fine, donate it. Okay, but a quarter bottle of shampoo, piece of soap, a lingerie that has been, the elastic is worn off. Yes, the elastic is worn off. Okay, stuff like, if you understand what I'm talking about. Yeah. If you can't wear it, all right.
Don't give it away.
Just throw it in the trash. And I may be coming across as a snob, but
being honest.
I'm being honest. Yeah. If you can't wear it, if it's not functional, if it's clothes that you're tired of them and you've worn them a couple times too many, everybody's seeing them, you don't want to see them, you don't want to see them anymore. Okay, I understand that, all right? But, if it's stuff that's should be thrown out, just throw it out.
Yeah.
Keep being you, and you gonna make it. You ain't got to be nobody but yourself, because you was created to be you. And you got good parents, because if you didn't, you'd walk around here and throw something at me. And, them people ain't just... Well, the girl growing up in this low-life type of world, I know you are the one. I'm telling the government to send me my funds.